All reports out of joint practice with the Denver Broncos today result in the Arizona Cardinals offense completely dominating. Big deal, little deal, just a deal, just a deal. Let's discuss.
You are Locked On Cardinals, your daily Arizona Cardinals podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Locked On Cardinals. Alex Clancy here. Follow me on Twitter, Clancy's Corner. Follow the podcast at Locked On AZ Cards. Thank you for making Locked On Cardinals your first listen, free wherever you get your podcast and on YouTube. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Please go to the YouTube channel. Search Locked On Arizona Cardinals. Hit that subscribe button, man. Turn notifications on. Season's coming. The season's coming. Saturday night, 6:30 Arizona time, on the road in Denver to play the Broncos. TBD on if the starters are going to play for either side. Talked with a buddy of mine who's out there, said it's really determined upon what happens in joint practice. So I'll do a final segment. Should they play the starters in week 2 of the preseason? And if something drops after I post this, know that it dropped after I posted this. Okay? 6-11. Connor Orr thinks so for the Arizona Cardinals Monday morning quarterback in SI. I'll discuss that in the second segment. But, some tweets from Theo Mackey, AZ Central, Tyler Drake, and others. The Cardinals are dominating the first-team defense of the Denver Broncos, who's looked to be a top 5 defense in 2025. Couple things. One, not a massive deal, not a little deal, kind of a deal. It's whelmed. It's not overwhelmed. It's underwhelmed. It's whelmed. It just shows, let's put it this way. You'd rather this than the alternative, obviously, in any sort of situation. Oh, man. Cardinals defense and Cardinals offense getting absolutely clamped by Patrick Surtain and others, Zach Allen and others on the Denver Broncos. Oh, boy. Maybe it's not just the Cardinals defense that's having their way with the Cardinals ones. Trey McBride, always wide open, paraphrasing one of the tweets. Marvin Harrison Jr. had a huge 30-yard chunk gain, and then doubled back with a reception from Kyler Murray against Pat Surtain. I think above all else, it just makes me more excited. If this offense can sustain the ups and downs of an NFL season and continue to inch forward more towards a higher floor than what we've seen, this team could make a playoff run in 2025. A lot of coulds, a lot of potentially, a lot of we'll see. It's either going to work or it's not with Kyler Murray. It's either going to work or it's not. So when you see these reports, you can't help but just smile a little bit. Good. Excellent. Continue. Oh, man, Kyler's 3 for 13. Can't get Trey McBride open. Death, taxes, and Trey McBride is wide open. It's kind of like what the thing is. So I wonder if I've been looking at this all wrong. In some respects. I've been in the camp that if Marv doesn't take that step this year, the Cardinals could be not in trouble, but it's going to be more of a struggle to win 10-plus games if Marv doesn't take that extra 300, 400-yard leap from where he was last year. But then I talk to myself as I talk, with what I say to other people is you can't look at it as a wide receiver 1 offense. It's pass catcher 1 is Trey McBride. He is bona fide elite. And this is the year where he becomes that household name like George Kittle and Travis Kelce, outside of just fantasy football circles. Sam Laporta was the hot name. Mark Andrews was up there for a while. You've got dudes like Tucker Kraft is supposed to be this dude that's going to – Trey McBride's already there. He's always open. That's one thing that Kyler Murray and Drew Petzing have figured out. Plus, Trey McBride's elite. How to get that to happen. If they're able to parlay that into figuring out how to do that with Marv in some respect, it's a little bit more difficult with wide receivers because wide receivers usually line up against CB1. And if the tight ends line up in the slot, if they're lined up, with their hand in the dirt, it's a little bit different, and they're usually bigger than wide receivers. But if they can figure out how to have that fringe 1A pass catcher nipping at the heels of Trey McBride, that's it. That's the win. That's the Shangri-La. That's where they're going to score, 27, 28 points a game. And not to mention the run game balance. That's where things really get scary for opposing teams. That's where things get really serious when you talk about Kyler Murray in the top 10 MVP conversation. Somebody's got to throw the ball. There's only one guy that's going to do it. So when you see, Marv chunk gain, Trey McBride wildly open against Denver's ones, I know it's practice. I know it's 70% full speed. I know it's not week one. And I also know the little things to incrementally build the momentum for this offense is beneficial as well. I think that's pretty obvious. So I'm not saying, preseason, Cardinals are going to win a Super Bowl. They're wide open against the Broncos who are running, with a heavy jog, not even full sprint. It's better than the alternative. And it also made me think, it's like, well, damn it. It's like you kind of wish that Pat Mahomes would have played a little bit more this past weekend. And his first drive wouldn't, start deep in the Cardinals territory because of the muffed kick or the fumble on the kick return by Greg Dort. It's like, I kind of wanted, because that would have been a perfect setup. You play one of the top offenses, best quarterback. You play one of the top defenses in the week 2. And although it's going to be very, very minimal sample size, you're still going to get a sample size for both sides of the ball for the Cardinals. It sucks that it was very quick with Pat Mahomes. Would have liked to see it, but I'm fascinated. Like, the crazy part about this, and I'll get a little bit more into this later because I'm going to do pretty much the full show tomorrow. Preview, should they play? We'll find out. If we find out from Jonathan Gannon today or tomorrow morning whether they're going to play or not, I'll do more of a reaction than an opinion. But now I kind of want him to play. I kind of want him to play against Denver's defense. If Denver's starting their ones, I just kind of want to see it. It could be a series. Nothing crazy. It's weird how situations evolve and you can change your opinions on things pretty quickly. It's a massive fool's errand to not look at new information and stick to exactly what you thought before. And I'll get ahead of this before the comments start to, rip up, is I've seen the full sample size of the first 6 years with Kyler Murray, and I still stand on my laurels. Is that it? Rest on my laurels? I don't know. That you'd rather have Kyler Murray than the wild blue yonder of let's figure it out. Still, for sure. And then this year, hopefully, will solidify that moving forward. Because remember, and I know that this is, way future pacing, and this started on a segment about Marv and Trey McBride being way open against the Denver ones in a joint practice today in Denver, is if the Cardinals win 11, 12 games, that means that Kyler Murray, Trey McBride, and Marvin Harrison Jr. all had excellent seasons collectively. And that yields contract extension conversations for Jonathan Gannon and Kyler Murray, and not who's going to be the next quarterback. That's how glaringly cut and dry it could be at the end of the 2025 season. But seeing reports out that they're mopping up the floor with Denver's first-string defense. Doesn't matter that it's not even really in pads. It matters that it's happening, and you'd rather see that than, Kyler's throwing 4 interceptions. It's like, well, let's be irrational about that side. It's better to be irrational about positive things. Locked On Cardinals, your team every day. Connor Orr, Sports Illustrated Monday Morning quarterback, has the Cardinals going 6-11. Let's discuss next. This episode of Locked On Cardinals is brought to you by our friends at Yahoo Fantasy. Best time of year. We're creeping up. NFL's here almost last about 3 weeks. Give me a break. That means fantasy football is in full swing. Yahoo Fantasy is turning up things with the fantasy football experience like nothing before. This year, I'm going to just cut to it today. To kick it off, their 28 days of fantasy football greatness, because they've been around for 28 years, both my main leagues, all of my leagues, are on Yahoo Fantasy now. To kick that off, they've dropped a guillotine league. It's a new format where the lowest scoring team from each week gets eliminated until there's one team left standing. So with the season around the corner, now it's a time to get your league together and give this new mode a try. Especially if you've been doing this for a long time, try a different format, man. If you're more into the classics, though, you can still play in the head-to-head private leagues or join a public league. Stay tuned for more killer announcements and start playing Yahoo Fantasy Football now at yahoofantasy.com/LockedOnNFL. Please go to the YouTube channel, search Locked On Arizona Cardinals. Hit that subscribe button, man. Turn notifications on. Cardinal Squad Show tonight, 6 o'clock, Arizona time. Myself, Jameel Douglas, Ben Garcia, full hour, live. Join us. More and more double dippers. Starting to see it. Starting to grow. Really appreciate the support. It's going to be so fun going into the season, man. And remember, for cadence, I'll only say this for the next couple of weeks, and then you'll actually see it. After the game, I will go live and do a reaction show for 15 minutes. It won't count towards my 5 that I do Monday through Friday. It's just a little, what's the opposite of icing on the cake? I don't know. It's going to happen first. And then immediately following that, the Cardinal Squad Show, Jameel, myself, and Ben will do a full hour breakdown live. So join, comments. It's much more of an interactive show. And I'm really happy that I get to be a part of that outlet for you guys. So Connor Orr, one of the more respected minds in football, wrote for Monday Morning Quarterback. He did every win-loss record prediction for every NFL team. He said some nice things about the Cardinals, and then he popped them at 6-11, including a week 1 loss in New Orleans. So before people scream from the mountaintops, oh, the Cardinals need their respect. Oh, this is all blah, blah. This is fine. This is expected. It's deserved. It's deserved. Because just like the NFL Top 100, where Budda Baker was ranked 34th, I didn't know that he was going to be ranked that high. The respect that Budda Baker gets around the league. He's going to retire an Arizona Cardinal. I still do think, top of my head, I've said this a couple times over the years, I think he's going to play his last year in Seattle. I think that'll be his last year. He played at UW. I just have a feeling. If he doesn't, he's going to retire a Cardinal. And look at what happens when all he has to do is play free safety. When you've got an elevated cornerback room and 0.7 of a pass rush was still able to run free last year. Imagine what he could be this year. If you told me he was top 30 this year, if you told me he was fringe all-pro this year, I would not be surprised one iota. It's how special he is. People wanted him to walk. Oh, they drafted Daedric Taylor-Demers and let Budda walk. Stop it. Think, watch, look. 6-11. Fine. They have them losing. Connor has them losing to the Rams twice, splitting with Seattle and the 49ers, beating Green Bay, losing to Tennessee. Like, listen, Connor knows more about football than Connor's forgotten more about football than I'll ever know. This is a little silly pants. It's a little skibbity bibbity. It's a little out there. If they finish 6-11, Kyler Murray's gone. If they finish 6-11, Drew Petzing's gone. If they finish 6-11, Nick Rawls is gone to go get a head coaching job. If they finish 6-11, things must have gone catastrophically wrong. And I don't know, like, this is the thing for me, and why I want to do a full segment on this is, like, there's just no way they only win 6 games. Even as much as people who despise Kyler Murray think he's not the guy, he's not a 6-win quarterback guy. With this roster, this defense, this offense, the place kicker and the punter, like, everything's in place. This is not a 6-win team. And if this gets clipped and they win 6 or 7 games next year, I'll be whatever. It's just, I don't even struggle with this. All of the things that have happened, like things that have actually happened, not opinion, not analysis, things that have actually happened, roster building wise, body transformation wise, health wise, drafting wise, like, there's no way they only win 6 games. If they lose to New Orleans in week 1, we've got very serious conversations that need to be had. And this is any given Sunday. Cam Jordan's still there. It's a raucous place to play the Superdome. In week 1, it's regardless of who their quarterback is. But come on, 6 wins, and I don't normally get upset about these things, but like, I'm not upset. But it's like, that's fine. They don't. Going back before I squirrel moment with the Budda Baker top 100 thing. It seems like it's predicated upon last year going into this year without any sort of off-season acquisition infusion into this decision. It's not. But I also don't know if Connor actually mapped out, because this is the tough part. It's like there's only a certain amount of games. Like you've got to map out the wins and losses and make sure that the total amount of wins equal the total amount of games and the total amount of losses. Like it's more than just, oh, win, loss, win, loss, win, loss. Like, and he has them losing their last 4 or 5 games of the year, which is the gauntlet. Of course, it's the Rams twice, it's Cincinnati, it's Atlanta. It just doesn't compute for me. I take these things with it as a talking point. This is still part of list season. And also, this is just categorically off. And for those who've listened every day, you've listened, like I'll agree with the national media members a lot of times. Yeah, 6 wins, that's about right. It's not the wheelhouse. This is my, if you haven't listened to Locked On Cardinals for a while, maybe this is your first listen. First off, thank you. Second of all, there's 3 different levels of a team. When opposing teams look at your calendar, it's either a check for a win, a question mark, or an X for a loss. And the Cardinals have been in that X/question mark region since 2021. More X than question mark. But now, nope. Between that question mark and check mark in that region for the last couple of seasons. This year is going to be the emergence of the infusion of, oh, teams are marking that as a loss. And it's not the actual teams like fans, people like this. And this is the antithesis of that, evolution from the one sector of people thinks it's going to be a win against the Cardinals or kind of it's going to be debatable to, oh, this could definitely be a loss kind of thing. It's always easy before the season starts. It's like, oh, yeah, win, loss. We have no idea what's happening. There's 4 seasons in one. It's always the quadrants. And then you add the fifth one into quadrant 4 because of week 18. Like, it's like the NCAA tournament. It's like, oh, you look at the bracket, it's like, oh, this is easy. It's like, well, what? Is this the same tournament? Was I inebriated when I picked? Like, I just can't really fathom them only winning 6 games. It's a fun talking point. They've improved their roster top 5 this offseason. And I know that's kind of it's a double-edged sword. It's kind of a backhanded compliment. Be like, man, your roster wasn't great last year. They've only added a handful of pieces. Like, they've had 3 pieces. And then the draft. Will Hernandez, 4. This is going to be very, very disheartening and gut-wrenching for me, selfishly, if they only win 6 games this year. Put a lot of effort into framing this as everything is set in place for the Arizona Cardinals to take that substantial 0-1 leap back into relevancy. And if the opposite of that happens, and it's going to be an embarrassing fashion if they only win 6 games, I might need to take some time away. Locked On Cardinals, your team every day. Should they start the starters on Saturday? As of now, we don't know. I'm going to make a case for both sides. Next. Monarch Money. Our friends. Most people can't name all their financial accounts, even what they're worth, whether it's 401ks, properties, or investments. And when you don't have the full picture, you can end up leaving money on the table. And that's where Monarch Money comes in, man. It's an all-in-one personal finance tool that brings you entire financial life together in one clean, easy-to-use interface, or your laptop or your phone. Monarch doesn't make you do the heavy lifting. They do it for you. You can link all your accounts in minutes, see clear data visuals, get smart categorizations of your spending, and finally feel in control of your money without ever touching a spreadsheet. Spreadsheet's a 4-letter word, man. Not having to roll out Google Sheets or something, and the app does it for you. Unbelievable. Don't let financial opportunities slip through the cracks. Use code LOCKEDONNFL at monarchmoney.com in your browser for half off your first year. That's 50% off your first year at monarchmoney.com with code LOCKEDONNFL. So, yeah, I mean, six wins. And it's not even like a sign of disrespect. That's not even what I'm saying. It's just like What if there was a world at the end of week 18 where they're sitting at 6 wins? Everything is in question at that point. I just don't see it happening. No word out yet on if the Cardinals are going to start starters or not. I think it should be predicated upon if the ones are playing for Denver. I think it should be we're starting to see a vast shift in playing starters. At least we did in the first preseason game. A large portion of teams played their starters. This isn't like the Sean McVay thing where nobody plays. That was kind of the trend for a handful of years when Sean McVay did it, and then they won a whole bunch of games the year after, and they won a Super Bowl. It's like, well, maybe you don't need to play the starters. With the amount of player movement, it's turned into the NBA. Not exactly. The NBA is on steroids, comparatively speaking, with player transactions and team signing with different teams. But I think that new players, new faces on new teams, new schemes would yield you to need to play in the preseason a little bit more, so you'd be a little bit more prepared for week 1. If the ones are playing on defense for Denver, I'm playing the starters, a series. I've shifted. It's like, because it's Denver. If it was Carolina, if it was Cleveland, if it wasn't a team with an excellent defense, I would be speaking otherwise. But because it's an excellent defense, I think that this is something that you play them a series, 2 series, depending on if, maybe they get a couple first downs in the first series, then you pull them. They get points the first series, you pull them, and then you just sit them for the next 2.5 weeks until the season starts. 2 weeks, whatever it is, until the season starts. I think it's the most prudent, even though it's, again, goes against kind of what I was thinking going into the first preseason game. It's like, man, everybody's doing it. And it's not like, oh, the cool kids, everybody's doing it. It's just like nothing can really get in the, you just can't risk it. And you kind of got to plan because it's Denver. It's kind of that double-edged sword. But I'll go into full, I'm assuming by tomorrow when I record. I'm recording a little bit later this week because I want to get correct information instead of just prognosticating and then hearing the opposite and just you watching a segment where, I'm talking about something that is definitely not happening. So I'm recording a little bit later this week so we can hear. So hopefully between now and tomorrow, we'll know if they're playing, and then I can, we can discuss one way or another. I would regardless, say the starters don't play. I do want to see Will Johnson. I want to see Max Melton, even though Max Melton's a starter. I'm talking offensive starters. Defensively, I want to see Dadrian Taylor-Demerson. I want to see more Keaton Crawford. I want to see a lot more Cody Simon. I would love to see Cody Simon start on Saturday. And Abuda Baker and Jalen Thompson. I would love to see Keaton Crawford and Dadrian Taylor-Demerson back there. I'd love to see that. I'd love to see more Denzel Burke. Play him early. You want to get him his run. I want to see, I don't need to see Darius Robinson anymore. I don't need to see any of the other vets. Joshua doesn't need to play. Calais doesn't need to play. They didn't play last week. Delvin Tomlinson's banged up. He's probably not going to play. I don't need to see Baron Browning. I don't need to see Zaven Collins. I want to see Jordan Birch start. This is the next iteration of how ready are these rookies? How ready are these second-year guys who are maybe, fringy between Will Johnson and Max Melton? This is Max Melton's job to quote-unquote lose, and you want to see if Will Johnson will rip it from his hands or not. And obviously it's depending on base, depending on scheme, things like that. But in their base where Garrett Williams is in the slot and you got 2 outside corners, they're both going to play anyways. But with that demon lineup, with the 3 safeties, you got Garrett Williams outside. There's only room for Max Melton or Will Johnson alongside him. So I want to see, regardless of if the starters play, I want to see a lot of Jordan Birch, of Cody Simon, of Denzel Burke, and a lot of Keaton Crawford and Dadrian Taylor-Demerson. That's what I'm looking for, and I'll break this down a lot more tomorrow for the full episode, and hopefully we'll know if the starter's going to play or not by then. I was going to see Locked On Cardinals. Remember, without you, say it, there is no me. I'll talk to you tomorrow.